Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo and I'm so happy to welcome back Leon, who had a fantastic film with us at New Filmmakers LA. If you haven't seen it, here is a clip of what we talk about when we talk about lights, camera, and action. Let's take a look at a clip.
OK， 按照你说的，换了剧本。我们再走一遍前期流程。有这个时间的话，男主角会成为我们现在拍的就是垃圾啊！范立文，你突然觉得不值得拍了吗？大哥，我和李世民的超时空同居，你听听这名字，就你叫他是垃圾吗？
Leon, I'm so glad that from one coast to another, we've been able to come together in this interview. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Of course, happy to be here, and I appreciate that you invited me back.
Well, I'm delighted to have you back because I really loved your film. I loved your style. I already feel like you've got this, unique style that I'm excited to see many more projects from you as well. But for those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, so this film is basically about a young, aspiring filmmaker who just graduated from film school, and it is his first time to come back to China to direct his first features. However, things happen. So during the first day of shooting, there's the shooting location got canceled, and the female leading actors, the male leading actors disappear. And so basically he tried to pitch his new fancy RC screenplay, but kind of struggle against the whole cast and crew about this new idea.
Well, dare I say, because where did the inspiration come from in creating the project?
I think for me right now, most of the inspiration, of course, come from the film I'm kind of interested in, but also I think mostly come from my own experience as a director, because as you know, this project is kind of my very first formal large scale production project. So I think the inspiration mostly really come as me as a director, because as a director you have a lot of things you need to do, and you have a lot of problems you need to solve. And for me, I'm kind of a director because I think I'm kind of young and experienced in terms of social life. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not kind of the director who will try to tell a story about like old people's love or something or touch about a topic that is kind of beyond my social experience. So what my take in filmmaking, especially when I'm young, is that I try to give the audience something authentic as possible. So for me as a director, well, this experience is always the most authentic one, and it's probably the most authentic experience I can bring to the audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was so glad that almost you kind of uncovered some areas of working as a director, working with your actors, for the rest of the world to kind of see the things you kind of have to go through, behind the set. You always see the glitz and the glam. You don't really get to see what, actors, directors, writers all kind of go through together, behind the scenes. And I thought you articulated that really well in this experience. Now you have quite a large group of actors, for this film, and mm-hmm. they all had such distinctive personalities and worked so great together. Tell us a little bit about how you brought your cast together.
Oh yeah, so that's a very, very long process, I think. For me, I think how I bring these, I think there are 6 main characters in the film. How I bring these six people together. So basically we have a kind of a 3 months casting period, before the productions. And so, but I think the first difficulty we met is that we started a project in the United States because I was going to school here. But there are actors and actresses, they are currently in US at that time, or they're back in China. So we kind of have a long process about like we get in touch with the actors and actors who are like currently or was currently in New York, and we have like a casting, and we talk about project together and we practice. And the other part is that for a song, like actor, especially the producer should the character, the producer character is kind of a tricky one because we are looking for like a middle age or at least 25 or 30 years old, like man who looks like a producer. But as we find out is that most of these actors, they are in China. So at that point of the project, we only can view like their, how do you say, like video casting? Like they record this video and give it back to us. And I have a couple of, I utilize like FaceTime a lot because I have like the video recording is not enough. So I have to talk about it, like the project with my actors, and I have to basically have the same casting project file, like FaceTime. And once we get back to China, like probably 1 week before the production, I frequently have like kind of a FaceTime group call, or like we just practice and do the table read in advance. Because for me, having so many actors and actresses, the difficulty part is that I really don't want them to kind of forget the line on set. So I probably have 2 or 4 times, like 3 or 4 times table read. So I have to let them practice many times, as long as like they can remember every line. So once they got every line, I have more like room and space to kind of adjust their acting.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's a really good, because for your actors had to be very conversational. They're very conversational. Yes. It was, a lot of playing off each other and very quick reactions. And so, it's nice that you had that process of just, engaging each other, doing table reads, keep going until you actually got it. With the actual kind of directing, when you were directing, how much do you leave up to the actors to kind of, work
improvise?
Improvise, yeah. Did you do improvisation?
Well, I think that's a very interesting question. So for me, I actually don't trust improvisation that much. Well, of course, I usually give the actors, like I said, you don't have to like repeat every single word in the script. I mean, if you got like some good improvisation, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I'm happy if it happened. However, for me, I think the improvisation more comes with during the practicing process. As you know, like we locked most of our casting about 2 months before the production began. So at that time, every time I would in the earlier period, I would kind of practice the script or table read with the actor and actress individually. And usually they will make a mistake when doing the table read. And they usually make some funny mistake. So for me, I incorporate a lot of those funny mistakes into the script to kind of fit their own character. I think that's it's safer way. And it's a way that's kind of more, you don't can expect it. You prepare for it. I think that's the
I
kind
love
of
that, because once you know the script, you're able to just, the room is open then to explore. Once you've got the script inside of yourself, you've actually got more freedom anyway. So I love that you kind of look at it from that respect. Now, I love the style. You have a certain great style of the mix of colors, the production design, all of those perspectives. How was that process for you in creating your set and the locations? How was the production, and following from how was your, that kind of perspective of it? What was some of the biggest challenges in production that you faced as well?
Oh, in the during the production. Well, for this film, I think most of the difficulty comes in finding the right location. And so we got because in the script, as you watch the film, we have we have at least 3 different locations. So we have the dinner theme. There's probably a restaurant scene, and there are also a movie theater scene. There are also outside scene, just right in front of the production company. So in the first place, we're thinking about like finding 2-3 separate places, and we just do the company move during places. But luckily, and we find a location that comes with these 3 locations in one place.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's kind of like a entertainment or like art center. It's kind of a private art center. So they have like a restaurant, or like it's more like a pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a pub, and we kind of redecorate it into a restaurant. So there's a restaurant, and just right next door, or it's not right next door, just in this under the same facility, there are also like kind of a small movie theater we can use, and right outside the movie theater, we kind of just decorate it into a movie set. So luckily, we shot this film, although we have 3 different places, but we just shot basically in one place, under one facility.
That's so great, and I think for any filmmakers out there who do have different locations, and I mean, that's great because you created 3. I mean, I would never a million years guess, but I bet it made things so much more logistically easier having everything in one place.
Yes.
Production.
Yes.
So that's it's very, very smart, Leon. Very smart. What I mean, I took so much from the experience of watching your film. I was, just in terms of just how the female actress and how she was perceived, and the roles and what's expected and all those things. I'm just curious, kind of like, in making something that's so personal, like, or got personal elements to you, what did you want your audience to sort of take and learn from the film?
Wow, interesting. That's interesting. I think the first purpose of this film is kind of debunk or demystify the filmmaking process. But like more importantly, I think for audience, I try to tell like lessons that, well, you got a good idea, but well, most of people don't want to give it a shot, or don't think it is such good idea. You should like invest in, you should create.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, you don't have to listen to them. As you see in the film, I mean, they succeed eventually. The whole casting, they kind of regroup together again and make the film, and the film succeed. Well, it's more like, I think it's more like lessons, because as you see from the film, what eventually like the final script, like what the final film looks like, it doesn't really matter. I didn't tell about. You didn't see any shot of it. You just see like there's a scene where the 4:3 scene. You remember the black and white, It's more this scene is more like a imaginative version of the final film. But what does the final film looks like? It doesn't really matter. It's the lesson matter. The succeed matter. The whole story come as one part. That is what it matters the most.
It's so I'm glad, and I almost felt like I wanted just you gave us the glimpse and the idea, and and the rest was left to our imagination, but you gave us the morality, which was the important part. I mean, it always baffles my mind the way you speak and the way you've made your film. I feel like you've been doing this for a really long time. You just
really, that's my first time. Well, I usually talk confidently.
It's amazing. I'm so impressed. What has the experience been like? We loved obviously having your film with us at the film festival. What's the experience been like for you? Giving it out with other audiences and film festivals. How's that experience been for you?
All like my experience with the festival. First, I have to admit I'm very happy to be part of it.
Oh,
and it's new. It's very refreshing, because for me, I honestly speaking, I kind of don't know like what specifically like a film festival it's able to give me, but it turns out, wow, you guys can give me a lot of support, especially like give me the place to screen my film. But more importantly, I saw like the movie review you guys wrote. You just send later. Wow, that means a lot to me, because having someone like a professional film critic to like see my film and comment on it, well, it's such an well, it's so interesting to read it, to read like someone professional, to
Yeah.
how they look at your film. It's
Right.
kind of, it's very encouraging.
The
And
first
it's
of many,
very,
Leon. The first of many.
yeah,
Yeah, but the first of many reviews that you will get. So
yeah.
this is the exciting times. Well, I know we're obviously during a certain time in the world, but what have you got planned next?
The plan next, I probably would do like a short film next year. Well, what am I focused on? Because it's like I come from like a unique city in China. In China, it's called Shenzhen. I'm not sure whether you heard or not. So basically, why I see this city is like an international city near Hong Kong. It's such a big city, and it's like Silicon Valley of China. But the thing is that even though like my city has such a like the economic and the technology part of it, it's probably is one of the best in China. But the thing is that the culture part of the city, it's there barely anything in it. So the thing is that because I go to NYU, and New York, it's a place so many well-known like film have been like depict like New York in many different ways. Like there's like Annie Hall, there's like Manhattan, there's Scorsese Taxi Driver. I really want to be the first director to tell stories that happened in my city. That's probably the second one. And as you know, this kind of cities like Shenzhen, I will say it's kind of it's in the early stage of New York. So basically just the development is still, it's fastly like developed. And there are a lot of like people from other part of China, like on the countryside or other part of China, they are come to the city looking for like opportunity, and there are so many stories in there, but there's like almost zero film. If you ask anyone, like in the US or back in China, have you ever like seen a film that can represent like the Shenzhen spirit, the city spirit? There's no.
So you're gonna be that guy, Leon, that's gonna change that, and that's so powerful.
I try my best to be.
No, it's really lovely to hear, because when you obviously the place you grew up and the love that you have for that part of China and that part of the world, and to highlight that through film is going to be really powerful. It's going to be really great. It's nice to give back to our communities as well. So I can't wait. So I can't wait to see. I want to see that journey too as well. So please keep making more films from your home city. Just to finalize, I mean, Leon, like you've made your first film now, and a lot of people, that's a big hurdle to get over, is making and creating your first film. So I wanted to know if there's any advice you could have to any first-time filmmakers out there that want to follow in your footsteps. Do you have anything you could share with our audience?
I would say, I will kind of quote the Nike slogan, "Just do it," because you only able to learn once you've done it. That's very important, because for me, I have a lot of like friends that kind of interested in studying film or making film, but they're always stuck in the first step. They think, is it kind of a good story? Can I think of a better story like probably later? Or I probably can spend 2 months more to polishing the story. I mean, polishing is very important, of course. Mm-hmm. I can't deny that. But the thing is that you have to have a first step in order to kind of start your career. You have to even though like you fail, but that's all right. But you have to do it. That's a very important lesson. You have to do it, and then decide whether like should I continue to do it, or I should kind of change my plan, change my career, or like, because you have to do it to learn it.
Yeah, listen, we'll thank Nike as well for that. No, definitely. But no, that's so true, and such wise words. Because we really do, and I think so many films and ideas don't get made because people don't take it to that step of just doing it. And
they hesitate. You shouldn't hesitate.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, I want to see your second and your third and your fourth and your sixth and your 10th film. So please just keep making and creating. I can't wait to see your short you make next year and as things develop. But thank you so much for bringing your film to us, and welcome to the New Filmmakers family. So it's lovely to have you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that you guys can invite.